We're 8 weeks into the 2023 NFL season, and Jameson Williams is now in his second year of the NFL, and he has received quite a lot of hate from fans around the NFL, and especially Lions fans. I understand some hate or doubt around Jameson Williams, and just the Twitter trolling is pretty funny because some of his drops have been pretty bad, and we'll look at those. But I don't understand the people that truly believe that he's a track star in pads. I mean, I understand why people would say that. It is kind of funny, and he has had some really bad drops. But for the people that really hate Jameson Williams and think he's a draft bust, I'm telling you now, Jameson Williams will become a solid wide receiver. Before I tell you why, I want to talk about that. This summer, there were people saying that Jameson Williams was a bust. How could he be a bust when he hadn't played a full NFL season yet? I was watching videos, listening to people, and people would say, look at his stats. He only has one catch for 41 yards. Sure, it was a touchdown, but he's seen barely any action. He's a bust. Why would the Lions draft him? And I'm just thinking to myself, he's injured. If you didn't know, Jameson Williams tore his ACL in the national championship game against Georgia. The Lions drafted him, so his rookie season, he really didn't play much. And I'm actually happy he didn't play much because there's a good chance he could have torn his other ACL or re-injured himself in another way. And I didn't even know that it was that common until, sadly, Emmanuel Mosley tore his ACL just recently. Potentially an 11% chance that after you tear your ACL, when you recover, you tear your other ACL. This is probably common knowledge. I didn't know it, but it was a good thing that Holmes didn't try to force Williams in a ton last year. And then you look at the first 4 games of the season, Williams is suspended, and not only is he missing the first 4 games of the season and not allowed to play, but he's missing practices and reps by himself because he's not allowed to be at the facility. So essentially, I've just made 2 excuses on why Jameson Williams' production isn't as high as some would hope it would be in the second year of the NFL. But I think those are some pretty good reasons that would hurt his growth as a player, and I think that he still has a ton of potential and that he will succeed. You look back to last year, his one catch, it's the 41-yard touchdown. Not much to show from it though. It's a flea flicker, the safety's bite, so it's not a contested catch. His speed's kind of on display though. He's flying down the field, makes the catch, which is always good, especially after watching this season, but really not much to show from this play. The next week against the Bears though, 40-yard jet sweep, his talent's a little bit more on display. Really shows how he could be a game changer for the Lions. Now someone may be thinking, you're just talking about his speed, how he's fast, he's just a track star in pads. And honestly, I'll take it. Even if Jameson Williams is just a track star in pads and doesn't have the best hands, he's still a game changer for the Lions and could be an elite player. I've always thought that speed is a really good quality to have in the NFL. Obviously, it's a good quality, but I've always preferred speed rather than height or something else. And look at what Mike McDaniels has built with the Dolphins offense. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane. Maybe Brad Holmes is trying to mimic Mike McDaniels' speed roster with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. I don't think that'd be the worst thing in the world because we've seen how the Dolphins offense can play. But even if Jameson Williams doesn't really have the best hands, I think he still is good at catching the ball. He is more of a body catcher. If you watch his film at Alabama, he's always just holding his hands and waiting for it to drop in rather than putting his hands up and taking it down. I don't know if that's good or bad, but if you think Jameson Williams is bad at catching the football and he'll continue to be bad at catching the football, he still adds a lot of value to the Lions team, even when he's not dropping passes. Joking. But even when the ball isn't being thrown to Jameson Williams, he still adds a ton of value to the team. He's stretching the defense a ton. They still have to respect him as a deep threat because he's not going to drop every single pass. And I don't think he's as bad as people think he is. Additionally, he's a good blocker. You can tell that he's not just slacking off. Chase Claypool, not even trying to block or not even caring about blocking. He loves the team, and he's going to deliver for him, as you saw on that long touchdown run by Monty. Additionally, you can tell that Brad Holmes really likes Williams. You can tell that he likes him as a person and thinks he has a ton of potential with the team. You see him at the Pistons game together. You see Williams at the Red Wings game. And Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. Look at his last 3 draft classes. Unbelievable. Every single player is still on the team. If he has that much faith in him, I have even more faith in JMO. This season, Williams has played 4 games, and in 3 of them, he was targeted 3 times and had 2 catches. Tampa was one of those games. Baltimore was the game that wasn't on that list, as he was 0 for 6 targets. The first one you see he catches. The second one, he gets a lot of separation, just not able to bring it in. I think it was a little underthrown by Goff. I'm not trying to blame Goff, but some of the incompletions I do feel like haven't been the best throws. Like that one, it took a while for that ball to get there. It should have been caught, but just not the best throw as well. And I think that's just because they haven't played a ton together. They don't have that chemistry yet. And I think that will come with time. Jameson only played 4 games this season and had 6 games last season, but the games last season were just a few snaps. That's it. The long touchdown against Tampa, that was a phenomenal catch by Jamo. Great tracking. It was underthrown a little bit. It's supposed to be right shoulder to the corner of the end zone. It's underthrown. Jamo has to come back, look over his left shoulder, but he makes the catch. Obviously, against the Ravens, really tough game for Jamo. 0 receptions on 6 targets. Few drops. The first one there, you see he says he caught it. Ref says he's out of bounds. Obviously 0 for 6, super tough. But you look back at it, the Lions' whole team wasn't able to do shit whatsoever against the Ravens. So I don't think it's as bad as it seems. And again, it's only his 4th game of the season. He needs more time. On the deep ball that was intercepted, I think this one's 100% on Goff and could have been a touchdown for Jamo. You see Goff just throws it up where 2 Ravens defenders are as Jamo cuts into the space. I could be dead wrong here, but I think that Jamo, when he gets down there, he can go straight or cut into the space, and Goff just maybe didn't see that Jamo was cutting into the space, or didn't see the space down the field and predict that Jamo would cut into it. I'm not sure. And then there was the 2 incomplete deep balls against the Ravens. The first one hitting him in the helmet, kind of embarrassing, hitting him in the helmet, but I think the ball was a tad bit behind him, and it was 100% pass interference. You can't tell me this isn't pass interference. He's not even able to get his right arm up to help try to catch the ball. And then the next one looks like a little bit of a misran route. He turned his head to his right, then to his left, and just isn't there. Maybe he didn't know that he was supposed to cut into the corner of the end zone. It looks like the same route that was against Tampa, but on that route, the ball was underthrown and it ended up being his other side. So maybe he was confused, or just a wrong route, or a bad pass. I don't know. And he looked fine against the Raiders. Again, only 3 targets. One of them was behind the line of scrimmage, which he caught for -6 yards. And then he had that drop early in the game. It was a tough one. And then he had a nice 20-yard catch down the field over the middle. So we didn't really learn much from the Raiders game, other than that he's still the same player he is. He's still developing, still learning. It was nice to see him catch one ball down the field after the Ravens game, though. That was tough to watch. In the end, though, I think he adds a ton to this team, and I think he's really going to explode. Again, he missed a lot with his injury and with the suspension. To me, he's only played 4 games in the NFL, the 4 this season, and we're not in desperate need of a wide receiver, so we can just continue to slowly work him in like the Lions did with Gibbs, because we have Raymond, we have St. Brown, we have Reynolds, we have Peoples-Jones now. I think there's a ton of talent there. He just needs the progression, he needs the reps, and the Lions are building stars right now. Look at Reynolds and Raymond. The Lions' offensive core and structure make them look so good. I'm not saying that they're bad wide receivers and the only reason they're good is because of the Lions. I'm saying that they're great wide receivers, and the Lions' core make them look even better and use their potential and abilities, strengths to the max. Jameson Williams will explode. We just got to give it some time.